a celebrity.
Feel
So we are alive, officially, theoretically, almost certainly.
Hey there, nomads of lore. I'm Jonathan, and this
I'm John.
is Sean, and way over there is
You
Rod.
You are pointing the
I
right
am
way.
pointing
Look
the
what
right
you
way.
did.
I
You
knew.
almost smacked me in the face.
Rod, can you actually hear me now?
I can
Ish.
hear you. I can see you.
Oh,
It looks a
God.
little
Alright.
delayed though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the lead. So,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we kind of got this thing going. Somehow, we make sure. Super excited to have a guest on. I think it's the first time we've done a guest on the show.
It is.
Come on, baby. Trying to get my phone charging over here, and it's making a bunch of
He
noise.
can do it.
Shut up.
So while he figures out his phone, this is going to be a spoiler-free discussion of at least book spoilers. Spoiler-free discussion of the first 2 episodes, right? Am I correct on that, or is it first 3? What are we doing?
Right, first 2 episodes.
First 2 episodes.
Yep,
That's
well, plus. I mean, part of the third.
plus 10 minutes of the third, or 12, or whatever it is, or maybe, or maybe just the first 2 episodes. So, yeah, this is going to be a spoiler free for book audience. So make sure when you are commenting in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you keep that in mind, that this video is intended to be spoiler free, for at least spoiler free for book folks. So we have a guest. You want to introduce yourself, Rod, and how you got roped into this crazy whatever
Sure.
we're doing?
My name's Rod. I'm a longtime fan. And I'm excited to weigh in on Wheel of Time. Jonathan got me kind of looped into the whole Wheel of Time thing, and I've been listening to the audiobooks. I muscled through the first one, and way back when, and then I kind of just give it its due diligence after reading or listening a lot to you guys talking about the Wheel of Time, and then getting excited and pumped about Amazon's Prime release. And so I don't know, I started getting more into it, and I was able to watch the first 2 episodes, but had a lot of questions.
Nice, good.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So first of all, we did a longer previous, it's all up on there. We did a longer, well, I assume longer, who knows how long this video is going to be, but a more in-depth spoiler filled discussion about an hour or so ago. Actually a couple hours ago at this point, but we're getting on into the evening hours, so probably young whippersnappers watching us at this point, but where we kind of talked about whether, what we liked and didn't like and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we can kind of go around and just initial impressions overall. Did we like it? Did we not like it?
Yeah, Rod, you go first. What was your overall impression of it?
Liked it. You could tell I'm really critical about art and stuff like that, and how a lot of people, when they do shows or movies or whatever, and their props and everything, I've always commented on the the benefit of having real life props that are made, that people put a lot of energy and work into, versus just all the CGI garbage. And I mean, you can have an equal balance of it, but I think that this show did a pretty good job of trying to balance a lot of that in. But I liked it overall. There was some stuff I think that only, like, the things that didn't make sense to me were parts that I was trying to compare specifically to the book, that the first book that I read. And so I just didn't understand some of the choices, but I know that the adaptations always, they always they're never exact,
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, what did you think, Sean?
So overall, there are some things that I didn't like. Definitely, we may get into some of those. We probably will discuss at least a few of them, because a few of them we can discuss spoiler free. But overall, I think right now, as of now, my pros far outweigh the cons. I'm really liking it overall. There are some interesting adaptation choices, which has actually been quite fascinating for me personally. I've kind of been very intrigued to see how they've made changes as far as that adaptation process. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know Sean hates doing like star ratings, but I'm going to do a star rating right now. No, I really liked it a lot. For the first 3 episodes, where it's headed, where I hope it's headed, and how well they've done, I think it's at least right now 4.5 star out of 5 for me at this point. There's definitely some problems, and there's some yellowish flags, I guess, on the play, and but anyway, it's pretty good, and I agree with Rod. The real effects versus special effects are a very, very good mix. I love the fact that all the Trollocs had different faces, different features, different things going on, where they could have just. I think we've made that point a bunch of times at this point, and I'm sure a lot of people have, but it looked very good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of different.
You could tell a lot of
almost
differences
some of them had
between
a few like
each of
different
the.
attitudes almost. What did you say, Rod?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I was agreeing with you. You could tell that there's lots of detail that went into it. I felt like some of the CGI was a little rushed in the bigger scenes, I think. But I mean, I think that you can't tear it apart too much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
Well, you can, and people
yeah.
are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of person. I like to appreciate the fantasies whenever they're created in a visual way.
Yeah, and the other thing is like we've seen in the past in a show we haven't talked about a lot on here. I don't think Sean's even watched it, is Expanse. They the Expanse on Amazon, it started out on Sci-Fi, and they had a very low budget, and their visual effects and stuff they did an amazing job of, but you could tell the special effects, especially the computer generated stuff, they didn't have a lot of budget to go with, so it's kind of, whatever. And as time went on, because they got bigger and everything, they had bigger budget and they were able to do more, and I think that's what's going to happen here, hopefully, as long as enough people like it. I think we're gonna see an improvement over the next few seasons, hopefully, if they continue on. So,
absolutely.
Well, I guess you can get started with your questions for us,
right.
things that you had that you saw.
You're gonna have to tell me if it's a spoiler alert or not. I'll try not to dive into that, but. Just the first episode, I love the intro. I always love looking at intros, and it really speaks a lot about the energy and time that somebody's going to put into a show when they do a really awesome intro like that. It made me feel. It reminded me of like the Game of Thrones intros. Not to jinx it or anything.
Yeah.
But
this book series has been actually written, the whole thing, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, all the way
hopefully.
to the end.
So. There's no still in the editors or the author's head. Yeah. Okay, so what about Perrin? The Perrin kind of threw me off. It maybe because I know that sometimes I miss some things in books and stuff, especially when I'm trying to. I don't know. Sometimes I just miss some details, and whenever I was watching this, I was like, "Man, did I really miss Perrin's arc?" I did. It threw me off. Can I talk about details in the show? Is that okay?
Yeah.
From when we're talking about spoiler free, by the way, for this is worth noting for everybody. This is spoiler free for the books specifically. We can discuss stuff from the episodes in this show for sure.
Yeah,
that's stuff that's happened.
If you haven't watched the episode and you don't want to be spoiled, you definitely shouldn't be watching this. Yes. Sorry, it's kind of spoiler filled for the show, spoiler free for the books. Kind of a little bit confusing, but yeah, Rod, go ahead and point out from the show what you're confused about, and we can talk about whether or not we can talk about the book side of things.
Well, Perrin's beginning arc in the town was really off-putting to me. I didn't understand. He was his wife or girlfriend or partner or whatever. Was she the blacksmith? And and he was what? Just I don't know. I didn't really understand that relationship at all. I thought that the blacksmith was he was the apprentice, and the blacksmith was this big, really,
burly guy,
bear,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, you're right. He he was in the show. He was a blacksmith and she was a blacksmith together. I don't know if they had like a family operation going on. There was no mention really of another blacksmith like there is in the book. But yeah, it was a little bit. I do agree that was a little bit confusing, a little bit strange because she was the only one really seen doing any blacksmithing, really. So if you didn't read the book and know that he was a blacksmith until they say later on, I think somebody says in the show, you're just a blacksmith or something of that effect.
Yeah, but
anyway, so yeah, I could definitely see where that would be confusing. But yeah, actually one of the big changes is between the two is the fact that Rand is married. That is not in the book.
You mean Perrin?
I mean,
You mean Perrin?
Perrin,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Perrin doesn't have a wife in the book. So that whole sequence could definitely be, especially if you've read some and you're looking and you're like, wait, did I miss that he had a wife too? That kind of thing. But
I thought it was an interesting choice to make his wife also a blacksmith. I don't know that it was terrible, but I thought that was an odd choice myself. I was trying to look up because I was thinking.
Well, the book started out with
master
making him a lot younger.
yes,
definitely a lot younger feeling for sure.
yeah, I don't know if they ever gave an age or really, but yes, I agree with that. I think
No.
I think the book more portrays them as being like teenagers, like 15, 16. And then in the show,
Yeah,
like
16.
20,
Yeah,
yeah, they're like 20-year-olds. So
Yeah.
which is
but
why,
like 20, like 25. Like I think that she
Yeah.
was specifically
Nynaeve
looking
was
for
25.
25-year-olds, wasn't she?
no, she was looking for
Oh, it's just-
20-year-olds.
Well,
Or
Okay.
Nynaeve was older.
Yeah,
than the rest
Nynaeve.
of
Yeah.
them, but
Nynaeve is 25, and she's the oldest. The others, the ones that she's specifically looking for, I think were 20 or 21, something like that. Like had come of age or whatever. Yeah, and that actually kind of it's definitely an interesting change they made to have them older, but it was kind of a nice, refreshing change, I think, for me.
Yeah, I
That
think
there
it
was not
I
so
think
much.
because of the audience,
They,
target audience age, it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
I know that
we're
it was
doing,
odd because it seemed like you know what Perrin's path is going to be.
Yeah.
So I don't mean talking over you guys. I feel like I might be talking over y'all a few times. I think y'all are cutting out of it for me.
No,
So
that's
it's hard to
okay. Yeah,
understand.
we're getting some weird.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were getting some weird audio things happening. Sorry, we were
Yeah.
looking weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Go ahead. What were you saying just now?
Something about
Oh,
Perrin is all I got.
Yeah, he was. Perrin was. It seems like the arc. You know where he's going. Like there's these. Each of these people are getting ready to set down this path of destiny almost. Like it's even without knowing anything about the story, you know that there's this. You have your main characters. You know that there's going to be something happening with them, and you're pretty dang sure that it's not just going to be all happening in Two Rivers.
Yeah.
So it's just like
yeah.
it kind of foretells that that his wife is about to get the axe.
Yeah, I mean, if you did,
Metaphorically
if
and
you read the
literally.
books, then I mean, I mean, as soon as I realized, oh wait, Matt did say he's married, you're like, okay, yeah, she's gonna die. This is gonna happen. That was
she's going with them.
Yeah.
There was no video or previous evidence in any
Yeah.
shots or anything that she was still alive. So yeah.
she's toast.
Yeah.
No, but then what they did too is like the way they killed her off was like that's gonna have some kind of repercussion later on down the road with Perrin.
I
don't know,
think
just-
our take right now on that is that they're using that as an excuse for Perrin to be Perrin because he's kind of this brooding internal character that is kind of his all of his acting is liable to be all in the face and whatever else mostly, and so this kind of gives a justification for that, and it'll also kind of add some depth to his character early on. So I think most of the repercussions we're going to see early. Now we may I don't want to get into any spoilers for later in the books, but I could see seeing some repercussions with some of his later relationships and things, but we'll have.
It's
to
like
see.
a speeding up the plot kind of thing of like getting to know the character without doing a lot of backstory on the character. That makes sense. That really does.
Yeah.
That would probably be a very wise decision for the directors if they chose to do that to just like speed up his persona.
Yeah. I think definitely, and that's kind of what they did with
real
Matt.
quickly. I've noticed we've got a handful more people on, just to keep the clarity good. This video is spoiler free. This video that we're doing right now is spoiler free for the books, but not spoiler free for the show itself. So we may be discussing some details from episodes 1 and 2 of the show, but nothing beyond that as far as like book spoilers and long-term spoilers. Just so everybody's aware, I want to make sure you know what you're getting into.
Yep.
Yeah.
Continue.
Awesome.
Well, the other thing. Go ahead. I was done with Parent. That was all. It was just that his arc was kind of confusing.
Yeah. So what was your next thing? Can you hear us?
No, I'm cutting out again.
Uh-oh.
Where's the Verizon guy? Can you hear me now?
Are you there?
Are you there? Oh no! Did we lose him?
I don't know.
Sorry, y'all there? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Yeah, we're back. I'm feeling we're good now.
Yay!
So Rand's entire episode with his father. Can we talk about that, or is that kind of on or off the table?
You talking about like the what happens in the book as far as his walk back down to the village?
Yeah.
After, I think that because of what they're doing in what it looks like they're doing in the show, that I think that one's unfortunately gonna have to be off the table, at least on camera.
Okay.
We can discuss it later. I think.
No, that's fine.
You?
Yeah, let me just burn through these, and we can you can shut them down because I definitely don't want to.
You're good.
Okay. The other one was they portrayed Matt a lot more mature, and he's not just a mischievous boy anymore, or like how you would understand him to be. They made him a lot more mature, but they also kind of made him more like roguish, which I thought was
more morally
interesting.
gray for sure.
Yeah. And it's like instead of mischievous, like more like on the borderline of like, thief kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know. I liked him. I thought it was a good development of him. Because I felt like he could have come across a little too whiny, and whiny characters just really drive me nuts.
Yes,
sure.
That something that's hopefully not really spoiler-ish. It's just kind of a character development over several books. He is not developed very well at all for the first 4 or 5 books.
Yes.
And so
maybe they're speeding him up too.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is exactly what they did by kind of some of the changes with his mom and dad. His dad in the book is not really a bad guy, but in the show he's kind of a bad guy. His mom's kind of a
Matt is kind of a 2.0 of his father a little bit in the books.
Exactly. And so in this, he's a little bit, like you said, more mature, taking care of his kid, his little sisters, I guess. And anyway, yeah, I definitely think that was another choice, just kind of like Perrin, where they were just trying to speed up his character development so that you didn't have this kind of weird whatever going on for a while.
Yeah.
So
What's your next
That
one?
makes sense. I laughed. I literally laughed out loud when I saw Nynaeve getting dragged off by her hair. And I'm like, well, there goes Nynaeve's arc. I guess just F her then, I guess. I was like, well, I guess they're really just taking some liberties here.
Yeah.
That was definitely some interesting change.
Yeah.
Led to a nice moment. Not to spoiler the third. Has she come back yet? And by the episode 2, right? She has. Okay. Yeah. So we do.
It was at the very end.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right
Yeah, that's right. That's the climax of episode 2. Yes. Yeah,
I'm like, so she just magically got away from that horrid beast was able to
you do
track
get
them.
to see in episode 3 what happened. So
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I only got like 20 minutes into episode 3, so I'll try
Nice.
not to dive too much into that. But the I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, because that's in the book specifically, and it wasn't in this. I don't understand how Moraine's going to be tracking them. You know, that part really kind of
how they're gonna get back together?
yeah.
That's
Because there is
there's no coin.
items.
I think we can. That's not really a spoiler.
Okay.
So there's no. I don't know what they're gonna do with that either. I thought about that actually. They're gonna.
See how
It's either gonna be real Deus Ex Machina, and they're gonna, oh look, here we are together, or they're gonna have some other way. I don't know.
It may not even. Well, no, she's gonna be looking for him because.
Well, they've kind of gotten them all kind of heading in the same. They're because of
Same
love
direction.
or friendship or something.
Yeah.
So they may just kind of ultimately end up in wherever. There, I don't know. I kind of think they're probably going to end up in Tarvalin instead of Camelin, but that's a guess and kind of spoilery-ish, but not really. Without saying much more than that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that they made her get hurt, Moraine?
Who? Did you say why or how?
No, why? Why do you think they put that in where she got hurt to the point to where she was incapacitated towards the end of episode 2? I don't remember her
Go ahead.
doing. Okay, I don't remember her getting hurt before. Like it.
Yeah, that's a change.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a change. I mean, part of that could be because maybe they were trying to kind of power her down a little bit for a while, especially to bring Nynaeve in a little bit at the beginning. You'll see in the beginning of episode 3, kind of her part playing there. But I don't know if it was like to just, she's been leading them and taking them the whole time, and whatever. And then I think it was just kind of like, instead of her being so central, maybe let's take her down a little bit so we can have some other people do some things. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think it's also possible. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. That is also possibly kind of just simply like stakes and tension for this particular medium, kind of ramping up that tension and that concern there, possibly.
Yeah.
By the way, if we've had a few people on consistently. If you have questions or comments about the show, absolutely let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. So anyway,
yeah.
The entire, I think that they did a really good job of how they dissected the group, because in the parts that I read about that in the book, I wasn't following along very well in like how they got separated in that, and I think that they did a really good job by dumbing down her power, by making her hurt. It kind of caused this form of like group, just overall group weakness, and then allowed these other things of evil to set in and kind of divide.
That actually is a good point. That may be kind of why, because in Shadar Logoth in the book, there's a lot of other things going on, and the reason they get separated anyway, and so maybe it was a more visual way to kind of add some intenseness in that part without adding the other things that were happening in Shadar Logoth with the other
things,
other stuff. Yeah, trying
other stuff and junk.
But you know what happened
Stuff
in
and
Shadow
junk.
Logoth. Yeah. And so I think
funny.
maybe that's why maybe that's another reason why
Could be.
they did.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
I think that'll segue us into this episode 2 then.
Okay.
Because I just liked certain parts of some stuff that they didn't like, and like I said, I understand that they have to they change some of the story a little bit to fast forward the details, because there's no way you can give all the details that are in a book and still make people interested throughout the whole thing, especially a lot of the internal dialogue. I wish they made Rand just a little more like what I've seen him in the book. Like he seemed a little more. Where did I put a whole thing on him? He seems less level-headed, more stubborn. He isn't as a. I don't remember him being a temperamental crybaby. You know, I thought he was always the one that was kind of weighing things in his head and making good decisions in the outcome. And in the show, it didn't seem like he was quite there.
Yeah,
So.
and you're specifically talking maybe the stuff with Egwene, or what are you talking about?
Even Moraine, his interaction with Moraine and how like he was shouting at her and stuff like that.
I think this. My guess is the reason why they did that is because of the gosh awful ending of the first episode, and the oh my gosh, there's things. Let's go. Okay, I guess we'll go.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on that too. Thanks. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I think that they added all that bit with Rand having,
his freak out
and having these second thoughts, basically to kind of add
Give
that
her
feeling of he's
anxiety,
he's not sure that this is going to be a good thing, because that's a big theme for a good chunk of the books, is this resistance to this adventure and whatever else, kind of like Bilbo Baggins on steroids, essentially. With the whole party, except for Egwene maybe, but which we've already kind of seen. But that's my theory as to why they did that way. It is an odd choice at this point in the story, maybe, but I think that's probably what happened there.
Yeah, it was so fast forward. The entire part of them needing to leave Two Rivers, the why, I mean, like really diving into that tearing them away from their home part, like it wasn't just this very accepted, blanketed thing, and just to see that being portrayed as
all of the villagers looking and being like, okay, it's fine, goodbye.
Yeah, like we just got raided, we're all in shock, but okay, you guys are gonna leave. Bye, I guess. Let me have a hug,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
As you have torches coming down the mountainside, going straight for the town, like
exactly.
Like, we'll see y'all later.
Yeah,
if you don't die,
have fun storming the castle.
Yeah.
You're not leading them away. You're leading them through.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh.
So,
oh man,
yeah. So what? Continue on. I think you were in episode 2.
Yeah. The Sons of Light. They brought in the Sons of Light. Is it Sons of Light? The White Cloaks.
White Cloaks.
Yeah.
They brought them in really fast, like a lot faster than I thought that they would. And that's the first scene that you see is just it's horrifying. Like it's like, wait, what? So many questions. Like I thought, I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts about them introducing the White Cloaks so soon? Let's start with that one.
So the White Cloaks are in the books introduced pretty early on, but only barely. We see them and we hear about them in Berlon, and the main thing we hear about them is a lot of people don't like them. A few do, but a lot of people don't like them. Mm-hmm. I think they are set up at this point to be another layer of villains. I personally really, really liked the way they did the White Cloaks introduction. I thought it was brilliant and horrific and terrifying.
I think so. So the big bad we know is the Dark One, right? And obviously books and show, but it's gonna take a while for the Dark One and that whole spoiler for the show. It's not gonna happen in the first season for them to for them to go against the Dark One.
You mean it's renewed for another season?
Yeah,
and they're not gonna finish it already.
So they have that villain, and I think they're kind of maybe gonna try to use Logain maybe as a possible ish villain, and then the White Cloaks as a possible ish villainish for the first season. And I think that's why they did it so early. I do like it. I think some we kind of talked about this on our last live, but some people said that it was kind of a Game of Thrones-ish scene, and I agree-ish to that, but it's
grittier.
It's
for sure.
It's good. It's really good. It really showed like just the passion of these people and what they think is right and righteous. And anyway,
Is it some plot revealing or later on in the storyline that they just decided to introduce sooner, or was that just their own interpretation of how to introduce them?
Well, I don't know that scene ever
No,
happened, but
that specific scene is
the concept is there, for sure of the White Cloaks and their fanatical trying to stamp out the Aes Sedai and all that stuff for sure.
They made them a lot more like Spanish Inquisition-y than
well, and they
what
come
I got
across
from
that
the
way
book.
in the book later for sure.
Yeah.
As that, and so I think that works.
It's like right away though in the show, like
Yeah.
right away they're
Yes.
introducing him as that instead of this gradual like, okay, I'm starting to understand who they really are kind of thing in the book.
Yeah.
And the rings, like it like completely threw me off having him with all those rings on his belt. I thought that they were supposed to be a very difficult, like impossible to recreate, a very scarcity type of item. And then he just like had a whole collection of them, a plethora of them on his belt. It was nuts.
Well, every Aes Sedai has one, so that just means that he killed a ton of them. Is really what that means.
No,
it's kind of like
not every Aes Sedai does have them. Remember, Moraine had to ask permission to take that one that she has.
No, you're thinking of something else. You're thinking of the Angreal that she takes. The Aes Sedai ring is their identifying thing. That's what they get when they become Aes Sedai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the Angreal then? Is that the bracelet? Blue gem?
I mean, I think we can say a handful of things without spoilers.
Okay. Well, let me back up. Let me rephrase the question. What about what's the blue thing that she puts in?
That is not an Angreal. That is actually her headstone.
The jewel thing.
Jewel thing.
Yeah. So so that is her head jewel that she wears. Right now we don't know from the show what that is really.
Okay.
I think that's intentional.
Yeah, and we've seen it in some pre-show shots and stuff. She's wearing it on her head, and
that's about all we know about it.
And she wears it in very formal Aes Sedai settings. And we can definitely tell you off camera what all that means and what as far as
Angreal we have a whole video on that. I mean, they're items of power in this universe, and we'll see a lot more and we'll get a lot more details on specific ones and the concept in general. There's actually 3 different categories of Angreal and all this stuff, but so enough for like explaining what's going. They're items of power. We have definitely already seen one. They don't talk about it. That's a kind of a for the book people.
Yeah, that was literally my next question.
Oh, really?
I won't mention it, but I was surprised that they didn't mention one of the items that Rand had, and it was just really shocking that I remember
are you talking about the Rand sword? Is that what you're talking about specifically?
Yeah. I didn't want to give it to if that's okay. We can talk about that.
Well, that his dad had this sword with a heron on it.
That is one thing actually I hadn't said in our last when we were talking about it earlier. That is one problem I did have with it is there was no time for him and Tam to have a talk about anything or him and Tam
but every time every time that he walked around with it, anybody that noticed it made a comment about it and knew what it was. And it was like there was just nothing in here.
And I think that's kind of gonna be something that it's interesting actually what things that they're pushing in, like what world building stuff that they're shoehorning in places, and then what things they're kind of keeping secret. They're kind of playing some of those a little bit different. I don't know why they're. I think it may be just like focus and lack and to help things stay less confusing. I think they're reserving some things just for audience, new audience members to be able to kind of learn more gradually is the best guess I have with that.
We'll see. I'm sure it'll come up because I mean it's a big part I think of some of the introductions that he has. Gwen and Rand, their relationship seemed a lot more advanced than I ever would have thought that they would be. Especially, I don't know, a lot of the conversations that you know that they have, even with Moraine. I don't know. I think that's just them trying to
I
just
think
create
it's
some kind of
again.
romance. I think that's what my guess was.
Well, there was. Well,
Well, and it also, I think they also used it to help
advanced character.
and advance the plot. This is
Yeah.
the reason why they're going to go. Rand's going to go after Egwene.
Yeah.
I think I think some of that also goes back to the age.
Yeah,
change, like they're
that's what I was
going
going
to
to say. They instead
Yeah,
of
that
being
makes sense.
teenagers, they increased them to 20-year-olds, and 20-year-olds are going to do, I guess, what 20-year-olds
which
do.
is gonna totally change one scene that comes later for anybody that does haven't watched this. That's book readers. There's one
true.
scene later that's gonna change for sure at this
Yeah.
point, which is whatever. It's a wink, but yeah.
So what?
I thought
what
that-
else you got?
I thought that was a cool way for them to introduce the wolves to Perrin. I liked all of Perrin's stuff. Every time they threw a Perrin up there, I thought that they did a good job. Other than it was just that him chopping his wife in half was the only one I was kind of like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Destroy that kid. But the way they introduced the wolves, I thought was really awesome, because I know that that's going to play a big part later on, and it's going to be like, I don't know. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah,
It's
that actually
interesting to see as that continues on. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, wait until you get into.
Had to careful with spoilers on.
Yeah,
in there, but
wait until you get into episode 3. There's a scene in there with the wolves that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up to the point. Okay, well, so like halfway through, or not halfway, like kind of towards the end of when they split. That's when I was like, wait. Where's my Gleeman?
Oh.
Yes.
Like I didn't understand it at all, and of course when the last part that I watched in episode 3, that he made an intro, and I was like, okay, so I didn't really understand why they didn't introduce him at the beginning of like their festival, and not, I mean, because they left a lot of stuff out, and I get why some of that stuff, but I didn't understand why they waited to the very end to kind of like introduce him.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is because of how quick-paced that whole intro scene is. The whole being in the Two Rivers and all of a sudden, we got to get out of here kind of thing all happened in one episode. And if Tom had been introduced in that episode, there would have had to be been a couple, at least one big scene of, I want to come with you guys and I'm going to protect you from, what's going on.
I think it's also clarity and focus. And have you gotten to where he gets introduced in episode 3 already?
Yeah.
Is that what
He sits down. He sits down at the table. I don't know what he does after that, or what he says or anything.
Well, then I won't spoil. I think the way he's introduced is good. It's markedly different. But I think we're seeing again. I think they're doing some things that are similar without getting too much detail and whatever else. I think they're doing some similar things to what they did with like Perrin and Matt, where we're getting some later series character development and growth earlier in a pretty subtle way. I like it. We'll have to check back with you and see whether you end up liking it or not. But
that was that's fine. I'll give that some slack and see where they take it, and we'll kind of just go from there. But I liked Tom a lot. I thought that he had his moments of weakness, but I think that he's a hero of himself.
Yeah.
For the boys to look up to, or men, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of father surrogate things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Man, I can't get over Nynaeve's re-intro, and then surprise, she's magically there. Like she was able to track them. She went through that thing, that castle, and like
well, I don't know if she actually went through there. I mean, she wouldn't have had to have gone through Shadar Logoth, right? I mean,
she could have gone around or something, tracked him. Well, no, she said she tracked him, so she would have had to.
Well, yeah, I guess
she would have had to go through it.
She would have had to.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know, but at least they give somewhat of a backstory at the beginning of episode 3, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
Still not believable.
Her being able, I agree. Her being able to sneak up on him though, and the parody between that and the book, I love that they left that in.
Sneaking up on land
and catching him by surprise, because Land's not Land's awesome. We all know it, and not
Well, and
supposed to be able
shocking to him and the readers and watchers all alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really dumbed down his badassery. You know, I mean, like,
You think so?
I do. I even at the fight, like whenever at the episode 1 when he was fighting, it was like I thought that he was going to be more ghost-like, you know, like where it just like bobbing and weaving in and out. Like he was doing a good job defending, and they had great synergy. Like I liked how they captured that, but I still thought that there was going to be a very slanted in their favor kind of battle, and it wasn't.
I heard an interview with what is his name?
Rafe?
Daniel Henney. Right?
Oh,
Is that right?
yeah.
Is that his name?
So.
Lands. I heard an interview. It sounds like there was quite a bit more footage shot of that, and I think, and there was like one scene that he described that he shot with Moraine and all that kind of stuff that was pretty kick butt and crazy. He said, I don't think that made it into the final shot. I think they kind of cut it in favor of showing the blood of the Manetheren, basically the Two Rivers people being kick butt, and what I think they basically decided to favor that, and I think that's probably because they cut Moraine's speech, kind of shoehorned it into the ride in the episode 2 or whatever. I think it's probably what happened. I think we didn't see enough of Land fighting in that scene.
I agree.
Because
I think we'll get more though. I think this season.
Sure.
I hope he plays a big role in the rest of the season, or gets to. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Trying not to spoil. Go ahead.
But did y'all notice that the half yin or half yang, whatever part of that is, the symbol that keeps popping up in red? What's up with that? I don't remember. I don't understand the symbology.
So that's the Dragon Fang symbol, which
okay,
is and I think that the only reason it's in there is basically a nod to book readers and hey, this is a thing, because in the books that's actually used to, like, if you think your neighbor is a dark one, go paint the Dragon Fang on their door. So it's kind of a sign of evil thing, you know, whatever. So I think that's more of just a nod thing, which honestly I've heard several people say, oh, it's really great, the attention to detail and whatever, and they didn't have to put that in, and that's fine. I thought it was kind of dumb, honestly, I didn't get that minority of that, honestly.
I knew about the Fang. I had that understanding. I knew the context of how it was used, but whenever I saw it, I was like, why is it like a half yin yang sign? That was my first thought.
Yeah.
I don't think that they executed the symbology very well.
Yeah. Agreed.
So Alan says that maybe Nynaeve tracked him too, and then found tracks going out of Shadow Logoth, which is entirely possible. I mean, we kind of have to make up our own narrative on how much benefit of the doubt we want to give the people, you know, or whatever else. But
that's so funny.
I think the main point was she was a kick butt gal and she killed a Trolloc.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
and she was able to walk on the shadow.
Yeah,
walk on the shadow in. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, in Shadow
Mashadar.
Mashadar.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
No,
she can take on Trolloc
because she was pulling her braid.
Yeah, exactly.
Braid power.
I love the braid flip. That was epic.
I did too.
It was the perfect timing of her getting out of the water and the braid flip, but it was just like, yes.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was cool.
For sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about the show. I think it's going to be really cool, and just kind of seeing how they progress through it. I'm excited about seeing certain how certain scenes unfold, because it's one of the biggest problems with sometimes reading books is that I have a hard time imagining what's actually going on, unless the author is actually doing a job that specifically gets my attention. So it's really fun seeing how a lot of this stuff gets visualized, especially like some of the special effects of like how Moraine used her power and how it manifests, and some of that stuff was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's all I really thought. I didn't have any other thoughts or questions about it.
Cool.
To that note, Robert Jordan did a really good job with visualizations, but once you get to the last 4 books, this is my opinion, and I know I'm going to be in the minority, but but Brandon Sanderson does a phenomenal job keeping my attention much better. And I think it's just because of his focus is a little bit different. So anyway, once you get there, it'll be a
every
while.
Brandon Sanderson book I've read has been stellar. I've loved like the Mistborn series, the Stormlight Archive, like all those. I just absolutely love. So I'm really excited about. I mean, I'm content and happy, you know, with this author, but I'm also really excited to get to Brandon's versions of it.
I definitely I am with you in that when I can't visualize something in a book, it's frustrating. And so being able to see some of the things visualized on screen, like Shadar Logoth, honestly, like I did have a vision of it, but didn't really think about the wall around it and things like that.
Yeah.
And so being able to see that and then a far off shot of it, I was like, it just brings it to life a little bit more. And the next time I watch it, especially these actors, is something we talked about in our earlier live stream. These actors were phenomenal, and Perrin is just,
They are,
for me, spot on. And now whenever I go back and continue listening to whatever book I'm in, or go back and read, I'm going to have the visualization of that character being there, and it's cool.
Me too.
I'm excited.
Yeah, but
I love how they made. Go ahead.
Which Matt are you gonna envision, Barney Harris or this other guy that's gonna replace him? Which one are you?
Oh, is there a second?
Wait, is he being replaced? The actor?
Right, in
he's
season 2.
recast in season 2 already.
My God.
I don't remember what reasons they.
I do remember that now,
but yeah. So who knows? Which is when I first heard that, I was like, well, I don't know. That maybe who cares? But now after seeing Barney Harris's portrayal, I'm like, oh, dang it, because he's really good.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
I was really impressed.
Yeah. So
yeah,
absolutely. Well, guys and gals, let us know in the comments if you've made it this far in your rewatching or whatever else.
Yep.
What questions you have, what things you're interested in, where were you confused? What questions do you have about the show, and what'd you like and not like? And
Alan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again.
Rod, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
It was awesome. Super excited about the show. We'll continue to. I think we're going to hopefully have Rod on again when we get a little further, maybe next week on episode 4 or at some time in the future. We're going to try to do a few more of these, kind of bring a guest on and talk about the show from a little bit different perspective, because we're a lot farther in than some people are, and it's good to hear. I like hearing not having as much knowledge of the books. How is the show for you? Kind of thing. So it's a really cool perspective to have. So thanks, Rod, for being on. And
thanks for having me on, guys.
Subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Ring the bell.
Yep.
See y'all on the flip side. Peace out.
See you guys.